Okay, let's see if I still remember how to do this.
This is the 2023 year-end review. It's been another year of flying. Didn't go as many places this year, but had some good flights. Got a couple of pretty good clips here. Another safe year, no injuries or anything. That's always good. But the year started with sort of surveying the damage. You can see how humid it is on the camera lens. Last winter was historically wet, and gliding out over Mission Peak in late January, finally, as there was a break in the weather, you can see all the erosion, and there was just flowing water everywhere. The hiking was gorgeous. And into, I think this is early March even, or late February.
Launching.
People who went to Ed had better luck staying up today, but those of us that went to Mission still got a kind of beautiful sled ride out of it. Seeing all the... Ooh, don't hit the ground, come on. Seeing all the beautiful snow all over the Diablo range. Just gorgeous stuff. This is one of my last flights in this harness, actually. Went and sold that, upgraded to an Air Design sock, as you're gonna see here in just a bit. Really wanted to climb out and get those views of the snowy peaks, but the sun really never came out on our side. We were lucky to get a launch off, honestly. There were so many people hiking. It was like Disneyland on some parts of the trail. Just people everywhere. Hundreds of people out enjoying the views. Always nice to see people enjoying the nice outdoor places that we have available in the bay. A little stronger conditions into the spring here. This is one of the first really lifty days. I remember this as you could just fly in a straight line and you just keep going up, don't need to turn. This is actually about when it became sort of hard to get down and the wind was picking up as it was forecasted to do. I think it was forecasted to pick up to 19, 20 miles an hour later in the afternoon, so I went to land, but I got stuck at this altitude here for a good 5 minutes trying to get down. It's always fun. Yeah, just trying to get down, I kept having to talk to myself, be patient, you know. Didn't have the Scratch to go anywhere over the winter, so kind of trying to shake off the cobwebs early in the season and getting some flights in where I could. Yeah, you can see just how strong the wind is there. Kind of just parking.
Here. Just be patient. Just be patient.
I was pretty jazzed to make it down safe, actually. Good learning experience. Landing early was the right call, though.
Oh, yeah!
And hey, no trip is, or no year is complete without going to Muscle Rock. And trying to shake off more cobwebs. Second launch is a little bit better here. Just beautiful. Muscle Rock in the springtime with the flowers and that beautiful water. Wouldn't pick anywhere else. It's just a nice place to be. Even if you don't fly, just sitting there and watching the ocean is totally worth the drive. But hey, if you can fly, getting up into the air, what a view. Especially Yeah, shadow of those clouds on the water. This is one thing I finally got to do this year is Sprint League. Got to go fly in Toll House and Dunlap for the first time. And in a semi-competitive environment. I've always wanted to fly these spots. Growing up camping in the Sierra Nevada all the time, being able to fly here and take in the views, kind of spot exactly where places like Shaver Lake, and look into the back range and see the snowy peaks. It was just a really, really beautiful place to fly. Heck of a nice crowd of people to fly with too. Nothing better than sharing the air with 30 or so of your best friends. I got to complete the task both days here at Toll House, which is pretty sweet. Got a nice low save on the second day, which was cool. And it's not the worst launch I've seen at Toll House, but it can be a tricky launch, as plenty of people will tell you. The way the wind kind of whips up this little cliff right in front of launch can be tricky. This is the low save on day 2.
Alex and Damon just landed over there behind me.
One of the task points had us going way out, tagging that mountain, and then coming back into the middle of the valley.
I am taking this little
and Alex and a bunch of other people had just landed in that field below me there. And I just got this little drifty climb.
At 3,000.
Took me all the way back up to
3,050.
where I could get to the LZ on glide, which is pretty awesome. But I had to catch this on the way there. This is I think my Vario peaked at 7.5 meters a second in this climb.
Couldn't resist putting a few turns in around
right here. About here.
Nature gives you Jesus 7.5 meters a second. Might as well take it.
That was real good. Real good time. If you're on the fence about Sprint League, give it a shot. Dunlap, though. Dunlap was totally different than Toll House. It's still a beautiful place to fly and all, but man, the air was... I found the air to be pretty spicy. Friday shakedown, flying there for the first time before doing the tasks, this happened. Which is definitely the scariest collapse I've had in the wild so far. Close to the ground, right after launch. And yeah, just trying to keep the wing open and overhead the next couple days. My confidence was kind of shaken, and you can sort of see how much work it is. I ended up checking the porosity on this wing getting home, and it's pretty well ragged out at this point. This is down to single digits on the wingtips, and the leading edge was not great. So I sort of didn't mind dragging it around for last few flights here. You can see a little bit of duct tape on one of the lines on the right side. The interior of the line was starting to poke through the sheeting. This is one of the things I felt like I got a lot better at in 2023 is climbing out from the 600. I made a little video about doing that because I felt pretty confident in sort of figuring out the technique to do this. This is one climb off that little ravine between the 300 and 600. Just that little saddle there, and it took me all the way up to almost 4,000 feet. There's another kind of low point. Is trying to get my confidence back at Mount Vaca. after the last time I ended up in the bailout there. And I ended in the bailout again, which sucked. It was like 105 degrees that day. And some people went and circumnavigated the lake, and I just launched a little bit too late, I guess. And it put me in the bushes down there.
Well, got a hike out of it.
Hiking out through the all the thorn bushes. But speaking of ragged out wings, here's the brand new one. My family was extremely nice to me for my birthday, and figured I should have
Beauty.
a nice, safe Maestro 2 to fly. I really can't thank him enough, because that is a sweet machine. This was my very first flight on that wing, and it was a 17-minute flight off the 300-foot hill. Talk about a confidence builder. Flying a new wing for the first time and climbing out from the 300 for the first time at the same time. Pretty awesome. So now I have a fairly new harness, brand new wing, ready to take on the world. But I'm really glad I got this flight in on it, because a week later we were stuck at the hospital watching the clouds overdevelop over the Diablo range. You might have seen in the previous shot my wife Amy there. But we spent a good week in the hospital at labor and delivery room 5, welcoming our son William into the world. So I didn't get too much flying in this fall. There were some days, but I was busy adjusting to a bit of a new lifestyle. But newborns are pretty inert, and once we got our new schedule down, having some time to go and scratch the itch, just with a couple of quick lunchtime flights off the 600. That worked out a couple of times, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, come on, get your foot in there. You'd think I'd have figured that out by now. How embarrassing. Always amazes me getting back in the air, just how freeing that feels after being locked down on the ground for a couple of months. It's just such a feeling, you know? I think there's another one off the 6. Couldn't really participate in the last few flights of Sprint League, obviously. Sneaking away for a whole weekend wasn't really feasible. But this day we kind of went from sort of sour to pretty good. Dan had launched off the 600. I bombed out, got sad, ate a sandwich, packed, hiked back up, and decided to huck it off the 300. And, well, like I said, I'd climbed out from the 3 before, but only once. And I'd never done it kind of on purpose. But this was quite the confidence builder. It's probably 2 in the afternoon here at Ed, late in the season. You can see how brown everything is. And it just worked. Quick launch off of the 300, gain a few feet here and there, and then right into this thermal. Took me up to about 4,000 feet. Heck of a good way to clear your head, you know? A little late in the day to go anywhere, but then I thought I had a job lined up, finally, because my previous position let me go when they realized they were going to have to pay paternity leave. So thought we had something already lined up as the state family leave checks were drying up, so we took a trip to Santa Barbara. That job offer ended up being rescinded, so still got some good airtime in Santa Barbara. Talk about a great place to fly in the fall and winter. It's just gorgeous. And this was one of my sort of bucket list items. I'd never gone and just landed on the beach there. Going about 20-25 kilometers downrange and then ending up on the beach is a pretty rad feeling. There was a little burger joint that we got to walk down to and have lunch after. And yeah, saw some local wildlife. Never seen a shark in the wild. Didn't know I would ever see it from the air. There ended up being about 3 or 4 of us that flew about this far. So we all kind of slid off the hill when the mountains started to kind of turn northward. There's a bit of a west wind that day, and it sort of stopped working at that point. But yeah, coming all the way down off the hills to the beach, it's pretty awesome. It's worth the sand in your wing, I swear. Got another flight in the next day, I think, which was pretty awesome, actually. Kind of a lazy launch technique. not exactly textbook, but hey, if it's stupid and it works, maybe it's not stupid. That wing's pretty dang forgiving when it comes to launching, so it's probably not a good habit to be in, but again, those mountains are just magic. Get up in the air and just go wherever you want. Very friendly. I tried some of the local task that they had, but I forgot to tag a checkpoint way down at the far end of the mountains, so I just kind of went on a little tourist run for the rest of the day. And that flight ended somewhat near where the previous one did, a little farther downrange. Stopped by Rincon Brewing later that day, which was a excellent place to grab a burger and a beer. Recommend it. And it's I don't know, I always say flying's a good excuse to be outside on a beautiful day, and this was certainly one of them. Coming off the hills, the air is just dead smooth. Hands off the controls, speeds half on. Messing around, taking pictures, taking gloves off, why not? Gliding over 101. It really is surreal. I mean, growing up and spent so much time in California, the perspective change from how many times I've driven that stretch of 101 and then to just glide over it to the beach. It's a neat feeling. I showed this clip to a buddy of mine, and he said he had his bachelor party at that campsite right underneath me. Didn't see any sharks today, but it was still a really nice flight. It's I think this is actually my last flight of the year, so it's a pretty darn good year in flying. I don't know what the next year is going to bring. Did a bit of a career change, bought a homebrew and winemaking supply store, so I'm going to give that a shot instead of all this tech nonsense. I'm tired of getting laid off every 6 months. We'll see how much time that affords me to get some flying in, but yeah, if not, you know, stop by and grab a beer. Cheers, everybody. Till next time.